Keystone Biology Review on Energetics. If we think about bioenergetics, so bio for life and energetics for energy, the first thing I want you to think about and maybe describe are the cell structures that are involved in processing energy. Hopefully, you are thinking about a mitochondria, which is used by all cells to generate ATP, and the chloroplast, which is used by your producers to transform solar energy into glucose and your high energy sugars. So for cells that contain a mitochondria, this is going to be both autotrophs and heterotrophs, because autotrophs, although they can make their own food and are only going to be the ones that have chloroplasts, still need to be able to break that food down to generate ATP. And heterotrophs are then going to consume the glucose produced from the autotrophs and break that down after we've eaten it to create ATP. If we think about each of these equations on their own, this is something that you need to make sure that you know. For photosynthesis, you should know that plants require water. They also require sunlight, but they need a source of carbon that's going to come from the atmosphere. So they need carbon dioxide. These are the reactants, and they are going to be transformed into these two major products of glucose and oxygen. For aerobic cell respiration, they are going to take the glucose and oxygen and use the oxygen to completely break down glucose, releasing the carbon as carbon dioxide. And as energy, the ATP energy is generated, also water will be created. So can you generate ATP without oxygen? Well, you can, but only for short periods of time with fermentation. Why this is the case is because fermentation is going to allow for you to regenerate NAD. NAD is the electron carrier that you would need in order to continue glycolysis. And therefore, once oxygen becomes available, for you to continue from glycolysis to the Krebs cycle to the electron transport chain in aerobic cell respiration. So fermentation is an anaerobic process, meaning without oxygen. So as we look at the products of photosynthesis and the products of cell respiration, something else to keep in mind is that the products of one of these processes are the reactants of the other, and they both are going to work together to recycle the matter, although energy is just flowing in one direction. It's taken in by the chloroplasts and it's released by the mitochondria. So what is ATP? Well, ATP is your cell energy. It's adenosine triphosphate. And ATP has three parts to it. It has an adenine nitrogen base, it has a ribose 5-carbon sugar, and it has 3 phosphate groups when it's ATP. ATP stores the energy that it needs for cell to do work right here in these high energy bonds. So when ATP is all together with its 3 phosphate groups, it's like a charged battery. It can release that energy, though, to do cell work. So that can be for transport, that can be for synthesis of new compounds like proteins, that can be for maintaining certain chemical ratios for homeostasis or movement. Fortunately, ATP will become ADP once it releases energy. But ADP is like a dead battery. It doesn't mean that you have to throw it away. It just means you need to recharge it. So with energy from the environment, you can recharge and put back on a 3rd phosphate group in order to generate ATP again. I hope that helps. Have a great day.